Hi everybody, Pastor Kirk here. Hey, this Sunday our worship includes a celebration of baptism on the church plaza. We've got the pool all set up. The baptistry. Okay, it's a Walmart pool, but it is great. Nearly 20 kids, youth, and adults are signed up to be baptized. Full immersion, kersplash. These are among our most awesome Sundays. And so we'll wrap up preaching a little early. We'll move everybody out onto the plaza by about 10 o'clock. You 10:30 worshipers, make sure you come early because we're going to start baptizing just after 10. And remember, worship isn't done until the baptisms are done. And this sacrament is an act of the whole church, gathered around the baptistry, watching, cheering, and praying for these folks in our church family who are making their beginning or their recommitment as followers of Jesus. Baptism Sunday, this Sunday. Can you believe last Sunday was Easter? Still got some of my Easter candy. I'm still in recovery mode, along with the rest of our church staff. It's not like a truck ran over us, but it's just like we just finished a marathon and we've collapsed on the ground in exhaustion. But what a terrific week it was. Starting on Palm Sunday, we had over 150 kids in our Palm Parade. Wasn't that terrific? We should add a donkey next year and a Jesus. Our adult attendance on Palm Sunday was nearly 1,200. Anytime we pass the 1,000 mark, that's a great Sunday here. Then on Maundy, Thursday, our choir, orchestra, band, they put on a beautiful Holy Week cantata, The Day He Wore My Crown. You know, I remember when I arrived here as pastor 9 years ago, turnout on Thursday evening of Holy Week was very modest. This year, it was over 500, including over 60 kids in our kids program. And then our Good Friday service, we read through the Passion story. That was the biggest I have seen here so far, over 200. And Friday night, the youth homecoming concert, high energy, high joy. 360 people packed into the rec hall to hear that program of songs and vignettes, including one from the Breeza twins. Remember that vignette, Grace versus Guilt? And we asked them to repeat it in all 4 of our Easter services. Saturday was a Sabbath on our church campus. It was pretty quiet here. And then Sunday morning dawned. And over 250 volunteers from our church family arrived early to make Easter awesome for over 1,700 worshipers who came to church that day, including almost 200 kids. Do you know, you may be wondering, over 70% of our Sunday attendance, they came at 9 o'clock. And thanks to our choir, orchestra, our worship team, our breakfast servers, our greeters and parkers and ushers, many of you volunteered during both hours. What servant hearts. Just a little stat. Did you know our bathrooms needed cleaning 3 times on Easter Sunday? And thank you, volunteers who replenished paper and wiped counters and emptied trash. This is the friendliest church. We heard that several times as visitors were cheerily welcomed multiple times between the parking lot and the worship centers. I mean, some of you who were doing the greeting, you may have felt it was redundant or overkill, but let me tell you, actually, what you might think is too much is what it takes to get to friendly. Nearly 100 of our volunteers, by the way, were first-time servers, and you learned how fun and gratifying it is to be on the serving end of Sunday morning, which is great because it means you're likely to help with Sunday hospitality in the future, huh? You know, when everybody rolls up their sleeves and pitches in like this, that is the mark of a healthy family. Easter, by the way, was a dry run for our upcoming General Assembly in June. That's just 2 months from now. GA's coming. Our national church, the whole Evangelical Presbyterian Church denomination, its leadership, they're having their annual gathering here at FOPC June 20 to 23. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Over 1,000 pastors, elders, missionaries, church leaders, and guests are coming from all over the country. GA it's a worship event, it's a prayer event, it's a missions event, it's a teaching and training event. It is so much more than a business meeting. And we want you to be part of it. Just think, okay, Easter, it took 250 volunteers to make Easter hospitable for 4 hours on Sunday. That's why we need 1,200 volunteers for the 4 days of General Assembly. And over the next 3 weeks, we're gearing up again and recruiting to enlist you to help make this first national gathering on the West Coast a huge success, okay? Would you do me a favor? Would you go to our website and click on General Assembly and sign up here to volunteer? And you'll see volunteer opportunities for each day of GA. You can be hospitality, food service, greeting, room host, and so on. Each slot, by the way, is a 4-hour serving stint. Would you consider signing up for 2 slots? Seriously. I mean, we've got 1,200 slots. Do the math. We need everybody to help. At General Assembly, you're going to meet EPC folks from all over the country. Some of them have funny accents. And when you're not serving, you can attend worship events Wednesday and Thursday evening, ministry workshops like new church planting, college ministry, family ministry, next gen ministry. There's going to be great theological teaching. Mark Knoll, one of the evangelical world's finest theologians, is going to do a 3-hour teaching block on the Reformation today. This year we marked the 500th anniversary of Luther's 95 Theses, and we've brought a theologian in to talk about the Reformation and what it means today. And then there are all church discussions that are going to be going on the floor of the General Assembly, like this year's position paper on marriage and sexuality, which is hugely relevant in our cultural setting right now. So, hey, look, I'm going to ask you next week, have you signed up to volunteer yet? And I want to hear you say yes, okay? This Sunday, we launch our new spiritual fitness series. And spiritual fitness is the answer to the question, after you receive Christ and become a Christian, what's next? How do we do the Christian life? How do we stay spiritually healthy? How do we grow to maturity as a Christian? And this is one of the greatest challenges every church faces. How do you teach and motivate your congregation to grow up in their faith, to take responsibility for their spiritual life and health, and to embrace an identity, not as a Christian, but as a Christian disciple? Because the Great Commission, of Jesus, the Great Commission, the big marching orders is go and what? Make disciples, right? And a fully trained, fully equipped, fully mature disciple is a fully devoted follower, an ambassador of Jesus. Does that describe you? Jesus took 3 years to call and equip his disciples before he finished his atoning work and ascended into heaven. 3 years. Okay? And then he issued his Great Commission. He sent his Holy Spirit. He turned the task of changing the world and reproducing disciples over to those 12 guys. How long have you been following Jesus? 3 years? More? See, every church is a base camp for Jesus' disciple-making campaign. How are we doing, Fair Oaks? How are we doing as a church, as a congregation? How are you doing as a disciple and disciple maker? The Apostle Paul is the great evangelist and disciple of the apostolic church. And his New Testament writings, from Romans to 2 Timothy, there is the basic Holy Spirit authorized discipleship manual. Okay? And Paul loved sports, and he likened the task of discipleship to a workout at the gym or a race in an Olympic event. 1 Corinthians 9, he says, you've all been to the stadium. You've all seen the athletes race. Everyone runs, one wins. Run to win. All good athletes train hard. They do it for a gold medal that tarnishes and fades. You are after one that's gold forever. I don't know about you. I'm still quoting Paul. I don't know about you, but I'm running hard for the finish line. I'm giving it everything I've got. No sloppy living for me. I'm staying alert and in top condition. 1 Corinthians 9, 24 to 27. You know, those words sound like more than an invitation, more than a suggestion. That sounds like the Holy Spirit as our fitness coach calling us to get yourself to the gym, get in spiritual shape for the race that God sets before us every day. And that race is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Hebrews 12 says, let's run the endurance race that God has set before us, fixing our eyes on Jesus. Jesus, he was at the starting mark of our life of faith. He's going to be at the finish line. You know, when Jesus finds us and says, come follow me, that's what he's calling us to, the life of a disciple. So let's get going, Fair Oaks. Think how much the average American, maybe you, maybe me, how much we spend on weight loss, weight control, diet sodas, exercise clothes and shoes, gym memberships. I mean, we take our physical fitness seriously. Let's take our spiritual health and fitness every bit as serious. Have you ever made New Year's resolutions about diet and exercise? You know, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 2017. I'm going to get myself to the gym at least 3 times a week. That's a New Year's resolution. We've just come through a more important start date on the calendar, Easter. That is the start of God's new creation. It has been launched. So let's get our souls into their best post-Easter shape. What do you say? Hey, if you go online, we've got what is called a spiritual fitness self-assessment. I mean, you can take this yourself. You might just ask a friend or a spouse to take it and see how your score compares to their score of you. But it evaluates your spiritual health in 3 major areas: your discipleship habits, your heart relationship to God, your Christ-like character and lifestyle. And we'll have one of these for you Sunday, a print version. You can take this test in 15 to 20 minutes, okay? And score yourself, and it'll identify your strength areas and your growth areas. And throughout our 12-week fitness program, we're going to coach you on how to grow and develop each of these 12 aspects of your spiritual health. Okay? Hey, that's all for now. I love your church. The FOPC gym is open on Sunday. I'll see you there.